Hi, and welcome to Managing My Money with Rosa. Today, I am going to work out February's fourth weekly budget. So if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. I'd really appreciate it if you take a second and hit the subscribe button down below. If you're returning, thanks so much for coming back. I appreciate it. I would love if you guys would hit a thumbs up. It helps me know that you're enjoying my videos, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on anything. So this is a journal I got a couple months ago that I track all of my budgeting goes in here. So I am a notebook lover. I have used a notebook basically all of my budgeting life since I left home. Typically, it's just been a cheap spiral. I have not bought anybody's cute little budgeting system yet. Not certain that I want to continue on this weekly journey. This is something I just started in January. Typically, I am a by the month, just my bills. So now I'm looking at not just my bills, which would basically be this section. Now I'm looking at all of the funds that are coming in and where is it all going? So that's something that's new for me. When I started doing this in January, I did a week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I decided to change things up in February to see if I liked it any better, where these two are now 1 and 3. This is my check so that I can see what's going on with my income. And these two, this are going to be my husband. So this is week 2, and I'm about to do his second check for week 4 of February. So still kind of feeling out, do I like this? Is there something better that I've seen that I want to take time and invest in? Do I want to continue on this path? I'm not 100% certain on any of those answers yet, but I do know that I need to look at what's going on for my 4th week of February. So week 4, February. So one of the great things I like about this is that I can circle the months as well. So if I do forget to put anything down, I don't have to really worry about it. So the first line I try to keep consistent, and that's the income. Now, sometimes I do a carryover, like if you saw week 2's February budget, you know there was $250 left over from my husband's extremely large check last time he got paid. We actually have spent about $200 of it on miscellaneous odds and ends, and then $50 I intend on leaving in his account, or in that account, for a buffer. So we have multiple banks, multiple accounts. His check gets deposited into one bank, my check gets deposited into the other bank, but both of us are on all of the accounts. So when I say his bank, I don't necessarily mean he's the only one with access to it. Just like when I say my bank, doesn't mean I'm the only one with access to it. It is a fluid back and forth, but just the way it all originally got set up. So that $250 is not going to carry over. So instead, all we have is his check. And it actually is somewhat back to normal. It's still a little on the high side, so a couple of extra things are going to get taken care of this week that wouldn't have gotten taken care of. He got a check of $932.87. So total income that we are going to distribute out is $932.87. And again, this is still a little large for him. We are used to 800, 850, 900 tops checks, so trying to take some of this extra and do some good things with it is the intent right now. So my husband's check basically takes care of filling all of our cash funds. My check takes care of the majority of the bills. His check takes care of cash funds. So the first one is I set aside money for my husband. And I set aside $250. That takes care of his gas. That takes care of, don't judge, his cigarettes. It takes care of, sometimes he likes to get an extra sweet tea. Sometimes he likes to get a Monster. Sometimes this $250 takes care of all of that. And please don't judge how he spends his money. That's what it's for, is for him to do with what he'd like. And though I get aggravated sometimes that he spends so much, I don't judge what he spends it on. So next up is fast food. Yes, we eat out 2 times a week sometimes 3 times a week. Sometimes we eat out once a week. But because of that, I like to have a budget line set for it. So that's $100. Gas is strictly for my car. I stick to the $50 budget on there. Anytime that I need more, I get a mileage check right now from work. So anytime I need extra gas, I just pull from that mileage check. Groceries. So I have to say, funny thing. So I'm not a spelling person in any way, shape, or form. Spelling just, if it were not for spell check, I'd be in serious trouble. So last week, someone was like, you realize you forgot an E. Oh, I did. Thank you so much for telling me. So if you do notice ever I spell something wrong, please let me know. I also have a tendency my entire life to write numbers backwards sometimes. And what I just say is the numbers jump on the paper in the wrong order. It's not like I did anything wrong. So if that happens, I'd love if you'd throw a comment down below too. Let me know so that I can come in and change it. So groceries, we have a $200 budget for groceries. Our youngest gets an allowance. It's not a whole lot. He doesn't do a whole lot. I say the same thing every time about it. He gets $10. I have a paper goods budget line, and the purpose of this is to not just buy paper towels. My husband loves paper towels. It's not just to buy paper towels, it's toilet paper, it's Cascade, it's wash detergent for the washing machine, it's dryer sheets, it's garbage bags, it's bottled water because we live on a well. So there are some things that we like to have the bottled water for. So bottled water, what else have I bought with this? Now that I want to list out what those are, I can't remember, but I do have a list of paper products so that when it's time to go shopping for them, I can just pull it out and go, yes, 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 yes. Oh, we need some of that. So we have paper goods. I also keep paper goods and toiletries, when we get to toiletries, separate from my groceries. Years ago, my husband I'd go to the grocery and I'd come home and he goes, how much in groceries did you get? I said, well, I spent $130, but that includes the paper towels and the toilet paper and the Tide that I got. And his response to me was, okay, but how much did you spend in groceries? So I've actually taken that really to heart with the paper goods and the toiletries and having them separate from the groceries. So when I go to the grocery store, I only buy groceries. That's it. I don't buy anything else. So I know that that money has been spent specifically on groceries, and I personally enjoy keeping them separate like that. Pet, we have a small critter. She does not eat a lot, does not do a lot, need a lot for snacks and toys and that kinds of stuff. So it's just $10. We have an RV. My husband, when we got the RV, we agreed, it's like $178 payment. We agreed when we bought the RV that his check would pay for it. So we take $100 from every one of his checks. Every $200 I go to the bank, make an extra payment on it. I get cash. So you'll notice I got gas and then cash. I'm only going to get $20 this week. And the reason is I really don't use it. Sometimes it pays for, I have an addiction. I have an addiction to Dunkin' Donuts frozen coffee. And recently that's where most of my cash has been going to that. So I know I've got to make some changes, but I don't typically spend a whole lot on things. And when I do, I try to save up for it so that I can get it. And then last of the cash envelopes are our toiletries that we've already talked about. T-O-I-L-E-T. Sorry, all of a sudden I couldn't spell that word. R-I-E-S. And I'm going to put $15 to the side for that. So these are all of our cash funds. And when I add all of them up, they equal $780. So $932 minus $780. That leaves me with an extra $152.87 to continue doing something with. All right, so then that brings us into our sinking funds. So it's always no fun. Sinking funds almost always go into the exact same things. I have different types of sinking funds. I have some that are recurring that I need to be funded every year. And then I have some that are fluff bonus. I'm working on saving up long term, but I have no real goal that it needs to be done now. So his check always goes into those sinking funds that I need to fund. I have a deadline and I have to get them done. So the first one are family birthdays. So in our house, everybody gets $100 for their birthday. There are 6 of us, 4 kids, 2 adults. Okay, that's a lie. 5 adults, 1 child still, but that's not the point. So everybody in our house gets $100. We either send it to you, you come by, but that's what you get. So intentionally, I save $25 from every one of his checks. 25 times 24 gives me $600. So we always have that money set and ready to go. His check also always funds our ETI. I have a high interest savings account in which I put a little bit of money that I'm calling retirement. It really isn't retirement. It might be for retirement, I don't know, but that's what I'm calling it right now, is retirement, and it goes into a high interest savings account so it can grow a little bit of interest. Not certain what I want to do with it. I just know that it's safe, it's invested, and it's growing. Not very fast, but it's growing. His check always puts $10 into a savings account that we have. And that savings pays for our vacation over the summer. So it does have a purpose, although it's labeled just savings. I don't actually have a vacation fund. I do have a vacation gas fund, but I don't have a vacation fund. Instead, we could kind of say it's like our savings. And then the other one that always comes out of his check is tag renewal. Now, unfortunately, I started doing sinking funds after my last tags were due. So I'm not 100% certain how much I even really owe on my tags. So I'm just trying to make sure I have $200 in there, but I always put either $5 or $10 in there. So I know that I'm building it and I'm growing it. So when our tags come due, I have money for it. And unfortunately, it's just recurring sinking funds that are going to get any money. So last time, Family Time got $5, Fireproof Safe got $5. This time there are no extras that are going to get any money, and that's okay. So this is $50. When I subtract those, we now have $102.87 to continue with. All right. So now I need savings challenges. So I have come to realize that my savings challenges take away a lot of what would be going into my other sinking funds, but I kind of believe in them and I'm not ready to give them up yet. So that's just how this is going to keep going. So I have a 5-cent challenge, and that 5-cent challenge, I am going to put $5 in. That's for an emergency fund. I have a 25-cent challenge, and I am going to put $2 in it. I have a 50-cent challenge, and I'm going to put $3 in it. I have a $1 challenge, which I am invested in funding this one totally by the end of the year. This is for my Christmas fund, so I am really striving to fill this. So this is going to get a little bit more, and that's $10. And then I have one more, which is my 1 month ahead, save 2022 and 2022. So I'm trying to save an extra $2,000. And again, I'm really invested in this one too and making sure that it is fulfilled. This is going to go into my 1 month ahead fund. So I'm going to put $20 into it, and this $40 would have gone into sinking funds that don't recur, but instead are going into savings challenges. So working on wrapping my head around not stuffing everything the way I want to, but making my savings challenges a success. So that leaves me with $62.87. Now, the goal is to have the majority of this $62.87 left over. So I told you that I was leaving 50 in for a buffer. I'd like to have another 50. My husband really wants a crossbow. So because of that, I am really trying hard to make sure that these funds stay in the bank and don't go anywhere, so that he's $100. He told me he wanted to save around $300 for it. So if I can save between $25 and $50 every check, we'll get there a whole lot faster. So if I can keep them in, that'll give me $100, but I never know. And because I never know what's going to come up, I try to leave that in there. So that is my week 4 February budget. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today as I worked it out on paper. If you have any questions, please throw them down below in the comments. And I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great day. Bye, guys.